Hello, everyone, and welcome with me again today. My name is Graceman Ayilara, and if you're joining us, please go ahead and press your share button so that as much people will join us. I've been receiving a lot of feedback from all over the world, while some actually say, okay, I think we are learning a new thing. A lot are actually angry about whatever it is that I am saying. And I want you to know that I'm just an honest man. I can afford to also deceive you and cart away money from you because I know how to speak. I know how to convince you to buy into my idea. I could use my gift to also steal from you, impoverish the general public. But I don't think I will be able to sleep at night if my life is all about that. I haven't discovered what I have discovered. We've done like two series of this particular topic before. You will backslide just like me after hearing this. And today I'm going to be very, very calm because some of the feedback I got, people were like, I would have listened to you. You would have made more sense to me if you were not so harsh and if you weren't like emotional. Well, I just feel they will bear with me. And most of them are of the opinion that when I speak these things that I use abusive words or insult the elders. So one lady in my inbox, we were talking and I said, I once read in the Bible this statement. Someone is calling somebody generations of vipers. Someone called some people good for nothing generation. And someone also called some people whitewashed wall. I said, what do you have to say to that? And she said she's never read that before. I said it was Jesus who was saying that way more elderly folks than he was. And I said, do you know that in the Bible it was also recorded that as early as the age of 12, he was in the temple debating with the elders. So if your pastor, either Pastor Oyedepo, Bishop Oyedepo, Pastor Adeboye, no matter how old they are, size they are not too old for us to correct. So I told this person that you think I'm passionate or overreacting, but have I ever taken like a rod and disrupt anybody's church service? They said, why would you do that? Isn't that even crazy? I said, yeah, your Jesus did that. He took rod and he went into people's gathering and he started behaving like a lunatic there. So is that a good example? Have I done that? I could afford to hire thugs and mess the service up, but I don't want to do that. And that's not a good example if you tell me. So enough of you saying, Jesus was so perfect, he never sinned, he never did that. He was really a temperamental guy, very radical, very temperamental. He has anger issue. Except you did not read his lifestyle through the epistle of John. You see a man who actually telling them your father. So I don't know how you read your Bible. He calls so many people so many names, and he almost he always insulting them. So let's just calm down with this over righteousness, over sabi kind of thing. Okay, because you are a Christian, you should be foolish, or because you are a Yoruba person, you should let them go like that. Though I do not agree with so many other extreme value or extreme measures, but then we are taking it easy here. Now, I took this particular lady to the book of Ephesians chapter 5 verse 12. Says that it's not enough that you are not part of their evil work. He said also expose them openly. Also expose them openly. So if you are a young person, you are under a pastor, imam, sheikh, alpha, whoever they are, and what they are doing is not cool with you, Allah, God, Spirit of life will never be angry with you if you expose them, because in so doing, you'll be saving the life of others. When you check the book of 1 Timothy chapter 5, verse 19 to 21, it says that do not entertain accusation against elders, but those elders that are found wanting out of the mouth of 2 or 3, it said, rebuke them openly so that other people may witness it, and when they witness it, they will also be saved. So I want us to do away with this sentiment and all that we have around. You can't talk to elders and all that. It's because the institution of elders is actually sacrilege, or sacred rather, in our nation that we are where we are today. Our life is dwindling down. Our life is being messed up today because of respect for the institution of the elders. Àgbàlagbà tó bá ṣe láńgbáláńgbá, ẹ jẹ́ kó yé wípé ìta gbangba la ó ti bá wọn wí pẹ̀lú gbàgbós. All right, so you will backslide just like me after hearing that you have been praying to dead bodies all this while. Let's take it from there. You have been praying to dead bodies all this while, something that even in your scripture, it is prohibited. Prohibited. I will be showing you so many places where you have heard as a person, and you will now make your conclusion by yourself. If you are still a normal person, having heard this, you will also backslide just like me after hearing it. I just wanted to go ahead and share this particular broadcast. As a little child of about the age of 7 to 10, we will travel home December, every year December, to my mother's hometown. I'm from Ijebu, and my mother's hometown is Ijebu-Ishiwo. Ijebu-Ishiwo, not so popular. One of these this way too, you know. And then, even though my grandmother still alive today and still a Muslim today, she would prepare us for crossover service. Crossover service, you know, we go to this, is it Methodist church in that Ishiwo for the crossover service, and just a day before, the town, we hire some men, some laborers to clear the burial ground. You know, in the olden days, there is always a segment for each town and city. We know where they bury the people who are strangers. We know where they bury the people who are natives of the land. So they will go and clear it up. Why do they clear it up? They clear it up so that the great-grandchildren, great-great-grandchildren can actually know where their great-great-grandparents were buried. So they will give us candle to go and lit up the burial ground, so such that while we were going on our way from home to church, that midnight, we will pass the burial ground and it's all lit up. And when they showed me the burial ground of my great grandparent, and I was told a story about him also, how wonderful he is and all. Somehow I've never seen him before, via picture or wherever. What happened to me was that I started developing an emotional attachment to this man who has come and who has gone. I will save money from January to December, some of my pocket money. Those are days when they will give you 50 kobo for lunch in school. You will buy Dondu Elepo. I was born in a town called Ijebu-Ife. So you just go to Itawadi, the market, buy Dondu Elepo of maybe 2 kobo with some pepper. Very plenty like that. You eat and be filled. The rest, we were taught the culture of saving. We still have to save out of that money. So we take it to our hometown. So I will save money to buy candle so that I can be the favorite of my great-grandfather, the mother's side, who is dead, whom I've never seen before. Because I've heard a story about him that he was such a nice man. Sometimes I will even weep at his burial ground. I'm a very emotional person. And I did that for 2 years. Then I realized something began to happen to me. An image started appearing to me in my dream. And this image always relates with me as my great-grandfather, whom I always go to lit up his burial ground. But because I've always been a child who deals with my own darkness alone, I didn't tell anybody. So I was growing up with that image. I would talk to the image. I will be in a room. I love to be alone. I'm an introvert. You might have misperceived me because of my vocality online. Thank God for internet. I may be with you and not speak a word for 2 days, for 2 weeks. I love my space. So whenever I do something that is wrong within me inside my room, I'm always apologizing to the picture, to the image of my great-grandfather, that I'm sorry I shouldn't have done this. And this image always talks back to me. I might want to get something done and the image will appear to me and tell me, go like this, go like this, and it will happen that way. In this modern day, you will call me possessed, or you would have taken me to MFM for deliverance. I wanted to listen very well. But then growing up and filling my memory with a lot of events and all that, I think I outgrew the time of going to my mother's hometown. As early as age 15, I didn't want to go anymore. That was a place I would normally pray and fast that they should allow us to go. I don't want to go anymore. I outgrew it. First, second year of not going again, this image disappeared. I wasn't seeing my great-grandfather again. And it was until when I become old that I realized that I made up the image for myself. And I gave this image that I made up in my own imagination so much power over me that what I created became a god over my life. So I've been apologizing to just what was my own creation all this while. Everything was my subconscious mind coming to consciousness, and I created so much fantasy around this man whom I've never seen his picture before. I just heard about him and he became part of my life as long as I keep going to that particular village. None of my siblings experienced that. I was still a Muslim at about that time. Then I became a Christian. And we started doing whatever it is they do in Christianity. Up until the year 2017, I sat down one day and I said, I'm going to really take a look at my life and take some stock. I made so many mistakes and I'm not where I want to be, but I'm not where I used to be. A man should take responsibility for his life, right? So I started thinking deep. And I started distancing myself from my emotion and sentiment. And I told myself that whatever I find out between January 2017 and December, I'll make up my mind. But it just so happened that it came so quick. Facebook reminded me of a picture I took while I was in Redeemed Christian Bible College. I was looking like a non-living thing. I'm a good writer. I have several gifts I've developed over the time. Not because I was loved specially by the Spirit of life, but because I took responsibility for most of these things you would call a nudge. I took them private and personal. So I wrote my experience in that school. So it went so far and wide. Linda Ikeyu took it, several people took it. I was in BBC and several other platforms, met with so many people, and possibly most of you listening to me, you got to know me through that. And this is one decision I made at that time. I said, if I as well put one of my foot, is it feet or foot? Or in both countries, so me, in the water, I can as well just swim across it. I can dam the consequences and get things done. I've always had this nudge to tell people what I have been seeing in my darkness, in my isolation. But it doesn't look like what they want to hear. So I went back to what they call the Bible. And I began to search from beginning to the end. And I realized that all of these things is crap. Every single thing that I believe. I had more faith in the dead people than in myself. And my life as a little boy with the image of my great-grandfather started replaying back like, am I in another kind of bondage relating with the dead bodies? And if these dead bodies were dead bodies from Africa, from my lineage, it would have been easy for me. But these are dead bodies. I don't know any one of them. They are not related to me. Our DNA doesn't tally. Our genes doesn't tally. So I said, wow, it's easy for you to be indoctrinated. Fight for a certain religion and believe all your life just to realize when you die that you lived a very foolish life. Very silly one. As a Yoruba person, you will hear people say, as in we want to turn the back of the dead. Islam, people do that too. With bean cake and all that. Maybe they are looking for an excuse to just waste money. You know, we like to waste money. And then you will hear them say that Aferoku, as in we want to investigate. Yoruba people have their own forensic way of investigating who killed a person. So they will roll the oku, they will instigate the spirit of the dead body to haunt those who killed him or her. All of these things, they also state the repercussion or the consequences. They call it akufa. Akufa means that whenever you try to instigate the spirit of the dead to haunt who kills it, there is probability that people will keep dying from one to another in either the family of the dead or the family of the haunted. So they always tell you, let it go. Just let it go. Whoever is dead is dead. And I started also looking at most of my folks, religious folks who are Yoruba people. What we believe in is absolutely nonsense. They fed us a story of a particular man who grew to the best of his divine ability, who is also a great scientist. Now, I want you to use this word for our legends in Yoruba land. I want to use it. They are great scientists. Now, a person called Shango was so knowledgeable that he could actually he had the chemistry of making sure there is a thunder, lightning, and all of those things. These things, people do it now. If you go to China, they dictate for the weather when there's going to be rain or when there will not be rain. Those things are things that people now later fell on. These are things that someone like Shango knew ahead of time. So because he was living an extraordinary life in his own time, he was seen as a miracle worker. And so people now began to worship him. So also, if I was talking to you like this 200 years ago, you will call me a miracle worker. If I say I want to talk to someone in America right now, 200 years ago, you will think I'm a witch or a wizard. Knowledge that is preserved always look like a miracle to those who knew nothing about it. That's why you have to be a scientist. Science means knowledge. So when someone is able to do something and you are not able to do it, it looks spectacular to you. So they said Jesus fed 5,000 people or 12,000 and all of those things. It looks spectacular to you, but that's not new. When you go back to the book of 1 Kings, you will see that Elisha was the first to actually multiply many breads and many fishes. So when Jesus did that, it's just a foolish illiterate who doesn't read the Bible that would think it's a spectacular thing for someone to multiply something. There's a science behind that. So the science of sharing what you have so that everybody has something to taste. That is if Jesus ever existed. I always put that behind. Always consider the possibility that this particular Jesus might never be in existence? Still debatable. So they said Jesus walked on water, so therefore you must serve him, you must worship him. And I said, these days people are even living under the water using submarine. In a world where people are now going from one planet to another, what is spectacular about somebody who walked on water? What is spectacular about it? And they said Moses brought water out of the rock. I said, now we have borehole drilling machine. I don't know how many borehole machines that I've used in this house. So what is spectacular about what Moses did? And where do you want water to come out from, if not the rock? At least you have seen fountains before. Most of the rock that are located in the Amazons or in the wilderness, when you check inside of them or you break them enough, you will see water there. Except you do not understand the science of creation. Everything is made out of this water. So it should not be so spectacular to you. And so my people, just like people worship Jesus and the rest of these Jewish characters, they worship Shango, Oya, Ogun, because they felt that these people are more powerful. Now, for many decades ago, many centuries ago, to make it look so awesome and beautiful, they also created story around it and say, okay, they disappeared. That they disappeared. Because they know when they tell you that they died like every other person, the responsibility to see them as normal person. Everybody is a normal person. While you have the breath, you can exceed or even manifest your divine reality, but you will still die. Forget about that scope of somebody sent chariot of fire from heaven and came to carry Elijah. Since you have been born, have you seen that thing replicated itself? So this is what they told you, that Jesus evaporated into the heaven and he went just like that, it disappeared. I don't know how that is possible. You took it to clan and sinker. But you are now arguing with the Yoruba people who also believe that Oya also turned to water, Ogun disappeared, Shango disappeared, Oromiyan disappeared. What? Have you ever bothered to ask why all of them are disappearing? Because you are scared, right? That, okay, what would they think of me? Why are they disappearing? Why must their story be the same thing? The day I sat down in 2017 to ask myself that Jesus ended his life the way Shango, Ogun, and the rest ended their life. At the end of the day, the story they told us was that they all disappeared. Imbolo disappeared. Where did they disappear to? They had to make them disappear so that they would look like a god for you to be able to worship. Now, there's a part in your Bible, if you are a Christian, and if you are a Muslim watching me right now, I want you to go to, I'm using the Bible for you because so that you will know you are doing something wrong. To the book of Leviticus 19 verse 31. You know Leviticus was written by Moses, right? Leviticus was written by Moses. It's part of the 5 books that he wrote. 5 beginning of the world. And do you know that this Moses was not even there when he was telling you all the story of Adam and Eve? And they told the story of Adam and Eve such that you as an African or a black man is taken out of the picture, of the whole picture. You as an African person, you are taken out of the whole picture. Because they ensure that whenever they are tracing their history, they trace it from Adam and Eve to all the Jewish people. Where are the rest? Imbolawati Jayo. Where did we come from? Black man, Asian man, the extreme Indian, the white folks. Where did they come from? So do we say this God is only creating one set of race? Or since they even deny us to be one of them, they didn't even think of us as one of them. All of a sudden they said they must not intermarry with other people. So who created the other people? Have you bothered to ask? Now, that book of Leviticus 19 verse 31 said, do not turn to mediums or wizards. Do not seek them out to be defiled by them. Said, I am the Lord your God. Now, why I'm bringing this out is this. It said, another version says, bow ye not to astrologers, neither ye ask anything of a false diviner. that ye be defiled by them. I'm the Lord your God. So don't turn to astrologers. A certain man called King Saul. Is this Saul? King Saul, according to the story we read in the Bible. One time he was in a dilemma. He was going to go to war. He's losing his kingdom. And obviously they said he has fallen out of favor with God. So this prophet that he used to connect with to reach out to God is also dead. Remember that Moses had given them the law that they must not reach out to a diviner. But in that Bible, a diviner is like a seer, someone who tells you about yourself, who watches the future for you. And that's what Samuel did all his life for the people of Israel, as it was written. Now, how are they not defiling this particular Bible verse? These things was hidden in a plain sight for you to know that these folks are crook and these things are not real. So he said, do not consult those people. Medium is a connection between you and the spiritual world, right? So that was what Samuel was doing, even when he was alive. And he wasn't faulted for that. But when Samuel died, and Saul decided to consult another person to bring, not even to, he wasn't consulting another person to reach out to their God. He was consulting that person to bring Samuel for him, so that this man will help him to reach out to God. I want you to see this connection. Automatically they said he's going to die. How do you compare that? How do you compare that? Samuel was taken out and used as a scapegoat for the things that they practice every single day. Let's keep that there. All of these things are ways of saying, do not bring anybody between me and you. The God of Israel is saying that to them. Don't you ever bring anybody between me and you. Now Samuel had to do that, reach out to the dead. And then fast forward. You realize that whenever you're praying, while you supported the punishment melted at Saul, whenever you are also praying, you are praying to the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. So I'm going to ask you a question. Where is Isaac? Where is Jacob? Where is Abraham? Are they alive? They are dead, right? So what did you do that is different from what Saul did? Praying to the God of the dead while you are alive. Have you ever reasoned that? Have you sat down to think about that? That all the while you have been praying to the God over the dead, not the God over the living. Because when you want to invoke this Spirit of God, that's where you started from. And then now remember that you are not meant to go through anybody to reach out to this God. Fast forward yourself into your Christian life. Now, your Christian life. What are you doing? Do you not put a layer between yourself and this God that you are looking for in the person of Jesus? So you need to reach out to Jesus. Jesus can now help you to reach out to God. Isn't that what got this same God angry with Saul? Isn't that what that Leviticus 19:31 says you should not do? Not to, by consequence, to not put a layer between me and you. Now go back to Exodus chapter 20. When they were giving this commandment, they said, do not bow down to any graven image and all of those things. Now look at yourself. You are a Christian. Look at yourself right now. When you want to pray, your state of imagination, the picture in your head, Or when you say you saw those visions and you went to these things, don't you have images in you? Whatever it is that make you get scared, that make you shiver and all that, make you bow sometimes and all that. They have painted a story of a man seated on a throne that is so big and so gargantuar to you and all of those things, and then you keep bowing before these images. And that's really against the book of Exodus chapter 20 that you guys carry around. Can you see the way they mess your life up? So if you're a Catholic, you bow down to these images. You still call yourself a Christian. So I'm wondering, who is deceiving who? So a Catholic friend of mine on my fan page told me that, no, when they are praying to Mary, they are not praying to her, they are honoring her. Pray to God. I'm like, yo, Mosha, are you okay? What are you saying? Can you see what you are spewing out in your mouth? You are talking to a dead person to help you talk to who you call a living God. Now let's go back to Jesus himself. I was so disappointed when I realized that in my state of consciousness and my effort, to make sure that everybody become born again, I have led so many people astray. Suddenly it came to me when I saw that he is the firstborn among the dead. What happened to my brain all this while? I started asking myself, whatever it is that they used to suspend me from reasoning like someone who went to school, it's very powerful. That this Jesus is the firstborn among the dead. Because he died. Now you know we have dissolved the situation of, okay, he ascended into heaven, disappeared. If it is about disappearing into anywhere, Shango also disappeared, sir, ma. Ogun also disappeared, sir, ma. Krishna also disappeared, sir, ma. Mithra, Horus, Attis, Adonai, which they call the Holy One, all of them also disappeared. So if it's about disappear and appear, we have so many magicians who disappear and appear. So if messianic anointing is based on disappearing, we have so many people who have disappeared. Why are you not worshiping Elijah as God? Because he also disappeared. Why are you not bowing down to Enoch as God? Because he also disappeared. Why are you not worshiping Moses? He also disappeared now in the same Bible. Let's leave my people alone. Because I could have so much of disciples tomorrow who believe in my teaching. And then one day I die like a normal person. And they cook up a story and say I disappeared. So that those people will keep believing that I'm still alive. Remember where I started from. How I started hallucinating and creating image of my great-grandfather, whom I've never met, who I've never seen, only became so affectionate with him because of the story I heard about him, and because I always go to a lit up candle in his Ojuorori as his burial ground. Is that not what is happening to most of you right now? Now you will tell me, yeah, I've seen Jesus before. I saw him weeping and all that. It's your mind that is playing game with you. If I'm twisting your head, it is one thing. You will recover. But now you are the one twisting your own head. Where is your recovery coming from? So they said, Jesus is the firstborn among the dead. So all of this while I have been praying to a dead person. And praying to a dead person or calling upon a dead person is the reason why the same God disowned the king called Saul and even killed him the next day. He killed him the next day, according to the Bible. And that's, he got me finish your name. Can you imagine my life? I've been praying to a dead person. A dead person that has formed so much impression in my mind that I could see him even come alive. The way I see my grandparent coming, a great-grandparent coming alive. because I have developed some level of emotion with this man because of the story I heard about him. That's why there is not going to be a long-lasting impression in your heart until you have a story, a connection with something or someone. So this firstborn among the dead, I have been praying to him. And I've been praying, simply just, I've been consulting the dead. How come? Nobody is saying this. That all Christians are worshiping the God of the dead. The God of Abraham, dead. Isaac, dead. Jacob, also dead. Jesus, also dead. What is that? So in this Bible, Jesus asked them, when they came to him and said, at resurrection, will we be able to recognize each other again? And all that. And he told them that, is it the God of the dead or the God of the living? That question alone, were you able to decode it? That whoever is dead. That God is concerned about those who are still breathing, not those who are gone. So all this atigbe baba rele, atigbe baba rele, atigbe baba re le ile ibo. Which house? Which house? Which house? So if truly there is heaven, paradise, hell, lake of burning sulfur, at least whoever is going to hell, whoever is going to the lake of burning sulfur should be feeling the torment. So whatever it is that you are feeling at that time, all you are saying is a waste of time. Meanwhile, even this afterlife was not even established for you. He said, he is not the God of the dead, it's the God of those who are living. And that's why we call this God you said in the Bible the Spirit of life. And we say he is not sitting in heaven waiting for anybody to come. He is inside of you. You are the Spirit of life. That's why whatever decision you make on earth remains what is made. So he said, whatsoever you bind on earth, anywhere you think of as heaven, just believe that it is bounded to. It's telling you that you are the one that can pull the string for anything. It's not one place in heaven. So, if there is heaven truly, even the heaven is waiting for your own action, your decision and indecision. So imagine yourself right now. That every single time you want to pray, you have to call a dead person into your prayer. So you pray in the name of someone who is dead. And you round it up with the name of who is dead. And you even pray to the God of those who are dead. Is it not enough time for you now to backslide just like me? Because this thing is not working for you. Is it working? So somebody say, how come when I pray like that, things happen, miracles happen and all that? Even those who pray to Shango, they get miracles. So don't bamboozle us with this. Whenever I say that happens. Even those who pray to Oya, those who go to Oshun, they also get miracles. Don't they testify? And they even dread false testimony than you. It's you that will sit up and say, everybody is sharing testimony in this church. Now only me. I offend God. You help your pastor manufacture one story and give it to the members. Ọ̀rọ̀ wa dàbí ọ̀rọ̀ àgbẹ̀ tó lọ sóko tó gbin ogún iṣu tó délé tó ní ogójì ló ń gbìn. Pardon me, I will interpret. Àgbẹ̀ tó lọ sóko tó gbin ogún iṣu tó délé tó pé ogójì ló ń gbìn. Nígbà ọ̀gbẹ ilẹ̀ bá dé, bó bá jẹ ogún iṣu tán yóò padà jogún ogún irọ́. The case of most of you Christians, most of you Muslims, most of you religious people is like a farmer who went to the farm, planted 20 tubers of yam or 20 yam seedlings, came home and say, I planted 40. When the time of farming comes, when he finished eating 20 yam, he will also eat the rest 20 lies. So you say, when I call this name, when I call on Jesus, all things are possible. Is that how it works? The most beautiful voice in the world is used to praise the dead. The most awesome gift in the world is used to worship the dead. The most creative talent in the world is now being dedicated to the dead. By consequence, what you guys are doing is you went to exhume all the skeletal bodies of those who are dead, package them in one place, and you is still living, having brain in your head, bowing down to this body. By consequence, that's what you do. So one brother said to me, came to me and said, okay, how can I be a seeker? Because when you speak from a different level of wisdom. I said, I wasn't as wise as this when I was a Christian. Upon all the Holy Ghost baptism I went for. Talk about certificate. I have believer's certificate both in Redeem and Winners Chapel. I attended the Holy Ghost baptism class. Wait here, I no attend. I even attended Bible college, School of Disciple. What did I not attend? The more she attend there, she more foolish, you see. The more of this Christian certification I was getting, the more foolish I was becoming. So when things don't work, the pastor will now tell me, ìgbàgbọ́ yín ló kéré o. Akùnrin yìí, ẹ lọ wá nǹkan ṣe sí ni o. Ìgbàgbọ́ yín kéré àbí kẹ́ ẹ mọ́ ọ dẹ́ṣẹ̀ ìkọ̀kọ̀. When things they promise you don't come alive, they say your faith is small. Or they even say that you are committing one sin. So you will be seated in the church and be saying, so now God ate me so. Is that not Sister Nkechi, who is a prostitute? She's making wave now because Sister Nkechi is taking her destiny in her own hand. She's making action to get what she wants. If you do the same thing, you will get the same result. So when you say, okay, when I call this Jesus, things happen. No, even those who worship Shango, they tell us things happen. So what is the underlying power there? What is making things happen? Now, that's what you should ask. You are the one making things happen. Ask me how. Let me tell you something. You can't be powerless than the force that creates you. I'm using a mobile device to speak to you right now. As at the point of the manufacturing of this mobile device, I bought this particular phone I'm using to transmit to you. I bought it 2017. I take care of things. Durable and awesome. It's called Huawei or Huawei or something, those Chinese. I have another upgraded version of that phone. Upgraded version. But I've not spent time with this phone to know what it can do better than what this can do. But I can do anything with this particular one I have, and I prefer it. As at the point the manufacturer is making this particular one, that is the limitation of this manufacturer's knowledge. So all of the things that the manufacturer knows was inputted and installed in this particular one. So one day the manufacturer saw that I could create something more than that and made this one, made several other ones, because the knowledge of this manufacturer is growing. Now compared to the spirit of life is not like that. There is no need for update. The universe and its content, you and I, were created to the maximum capacity of the spirit of life, all at once. And the expectation of the spirit of life is so you can function to the best of your divine reality. So that's why I said you cannot be powerless to the things that made you. Why? Because the content in you is exact replica of the content of what made you. And that's why if we need what makes you, we come to you. So when someone is looking for God, when they see you, their problem should be solved. When somebody is looking for something in the sky or in heaven and they meet you, you should be a problem solver. But you were not trained or taught like this, so that you can keep looking up to some people for solution. Whereas you yourself, you are a life full of bubbling solution. So what happened to you when you pray? Either you mention one name or another name. Is you activating your ideal spiritual ability. That is what I call divine intervention. Divine intervention is not an external emissary coming to your aid. It is mankind activating their ideal spiritual ability. Everything you need is here. You can speak to the wind and it will be still. You can tell the mountain, this is what you want. But do you even know how to relate or communicate with other creatures in this world? Because you believe you are the only one in existence. Mankind can be so full of themselves, they believe they are the only one in existence and all that. There are other people in this world that you are not seeing. There are other spirits. Even the trees, the plants, the animals you can see, you don't even know how to talk to them. Not to mention the things you cannot see. These are the things that seeking put in your hand, making you become your own kind of God. Since 2017, I have stopped praying in the name of Jesus. I have not died. And I'm not retrogressing. It took a lot of training for me to stop praying in the name of Jesus and for me to also stop saying amen to a prayer. So I would rather say Ashe, which is something I understand. Or you pray for me, I want to speak in English to you because you don't understand Ashe, or you'll be taking me for one diabolic person. I said, so shall it be. So shall it be. Is that not what they tell you that amen means? Whereas amen is an idol in Egypt. So while you pray to a dead man, a dead person, you also use an idol to mess everything. See the way life is messing up as a Christian. So you pray to the God of the dead. Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, those people are dead. You are praying to the God of the dead. Now you are praying to a dead person who is Jesus. And you are even now at what top where? You people now top it with the name of an idol in Egypt called Amen or Ammon. You know, Amon-Ra, right? Yeah. That's what Christianity you are practicing. But here is what I want you to know. You might say, I want to still be among them so I can change them from within. A fly that swims in an alcohol can never escape being drunk. So this is the case. You will always be frustrated, confused, agitated, exasperated while you are still in traffic with the rest. But the moment you take a flight and you are the one in the chopper up, the flight look peaceful. Then you can now know where the deadlock is. You can know if it is the traffic warden that is causing the thing, but it doesn't know what it's doing. Now, traffic warden now, your sheikh, your imam, your pastor, your bishops, your evangelists, your apostles, see the way they are directing you anyhow. Now, you are the members of this traffic jam, frustrated, agitated, thinking that the government, which we can liken unto God now, has not done anything, whereas you can maximize the little space you have. Suddenly you know this because you have separated yourself and you have taken away emotional sentiment to be able to know what is going on. Until you do that, most of these common sense, common things that the Roman people packaged as religion and handed over to you Africans, they will never know that your fathers, many generations in the past, they died in paganism and in ignorance. And you're about to die the same way. You're already conditioning your children to do the same thing. You're already indoctrinating them to go the same way. Everything I said today, intentionally I picked it out from this Bible, from the Bible for you, to know that it's a sorry case. It's an exposition. You can do well to share on your wall. Let your people know. Let your people know. Now, I have not told you what to do. I have told you what I discovered. It's now left for you to do what you want to do with it. You can only tell people the truth. You can't tell them what to use the truth for. You can only tell people what is real, what is not. You can't help them to think in that way. As long as there is a breath in me, I will keep sharing with you what I have discovered so far. And the reason why I behave the way I behave. And when I turned my back on Islam, said to myself, I'm not coming back. When I turned my back on Christianity, I said to myself, I'm not coming back. Now, I'm living the best time of my life right now, where I don't wait on someone to get things done. I just go out and do it. And really, I must tell you, the few years of my life out of this religion, I've recorded so much achievement, and I even sleep without even worrying. I no longer call the angels to be on guard because nothing is coming against me. I know the power that the universe carries, and I'm aware of the content of my own mortal body. So it's going to be a battle of force. But this force is not going to be determined by a dead person. This force is not going to be determined by the God of the dead, the God of Abraham, God of Isaac, God of Jacob. Those people are dead. Why do I want to call on the God of those who are dead to come and make decision for me who is alive? This is not going to be determined. My life no more will be determined by Jesus, who is dead and gone. I no longer pray to a person who is dead and gone. Because even your Bible warned me that when Saul tried to contact the dead, it was wasted the next day. So maybe, let's say, I want to listen to the Bible for once. I don't want to pray to those who are dead. So if you think because Jesus disappeared, so he's a Messiah. Shango also disappeared though. We have more than enough 15 people in my own culture alone that lived and also was told me that disappeared. So don't make disappearance something so spectacular. My people know how to disappear. They know how to disappear. So don't use that one as a basis. You are telling me because somebody walked on water, so therefore this and that. We are now using submarine. I don't know, go and risk your life and be walking on water. You say because somebody brought water out of the rock. We have borehole now, so it's not spectacular. If you say because somebody multiplied some bread and some fishes, even Elisha, he multiplied more than that. All this outdated rewriting of story, copywriting, plagiarization and all that, it won't work on me. So you don't have to waste your time. But then I'm asking you, where is this God before Christianity and Islam came to Africa? Who, our parents, our forefathers, how are they reaching out to God? How? I told you Nebuchadnezzar is a bad person, but he had a dream and God spoke to him. Through who? It's definitely not through Jesus. I told you Pharaoh had a dream about famine and plenty. Who was in Africa? Who gave him the revelation? Is it because he called Jesus? He didn't call Jesus. He just had a revelation because these people practice spirituality. Spirituality is above Christianity. Spirituality is above Islam. And the thing about the Christian and Islam spirituality is it is limited to that their book. And in that their book, so many errors, so many contradictions, so many buffoonery, so many things that they keep using against themselves. I hope by next session, I'm going to be with you. I'll talk to you about why Jesus did not die for you. And why I know Jesus did not come for you, he neither died for you. I will pick it out from the same Bible. At least today I was calm, trying to gather myself together, not emotional. For I remember how they have messed the life of our parents up, generations ahead of them or before them, with this particular Bible and all. I get so exasperated sometimes, but there's a little I can do. So for now, this is what I'm going to say. I bow to the divinity inside of you, and I'm using this medium to welcome you. At least free yourself for once. Free yourself for once. Be a seeker. Seek the truth. Seek the truth. Find out the reality of what you have been sold. Find out the real things that you have been told. Forget about what anybody is saying to you. Somebody was asking me, but I saw you on DSA platform, I saw you on Freeze platform, and all those people, you guys are not together because these guys are liars. They know exactly what I'm saying to you, but they know if they tread this path I am treading, they will not be popular anymore. there will be no money for them anymore. Their life is all about, let's also make you dry with Jesus. Somebody was saying, why is it that Sulaiman was saying, freeze is my friend? And I said, okay, why don't you calculate it? If a goat is calling a lion brother, you have to now know that whatever makes them make that statement is what should make you to go and check under the skin if goat is really goat and not a lion, or lion is really lion and not a goat. See, either you are in church or you are in Reformation. You people are still putting money in the same basket. They still make use of you. Your life right now is the life of a Nigerian masses, typical Nigerian masses. Both PDP and APC, they know how they meet in the inner caucus, but they create controversy and division just to give you events so that you can keep running and all that. Whenever you stumble on this truth, or maybe those guys begin to tell you this same truth that I'm telling you, remember that I told you this ahead of time. And there are few things I have told you in the past. None of them came to me void. I'm telling you ahead of time. It is time for Africa to be free totally from every form of milking and systematic slavery through the instrument of religion. You can be close to God. You can know the length and breadth of the spirit of life. You can do exploit without being a Christian or a Muslim. Because whoever made the whole world did not make them for only the Christians or only the Muslims. He made your world, step out of it, gave you the chance to also recreate. Till the next time I see you again, I'd like to tell you that you are the light of the world. Everywhere you go to, bring illumination to the darkness of the people, just like we are doing right now. You are the salt of the world. Whenever you see a decaying situation, please bring preservation to it. And you are the word of life. If your word is not going to bind people up, reveal truth to them, help them get better, it costs nothing to keep quiet. And you are God. You are God. I say again, you are God. Stop looking up or to the hill for your help to come. Start getting things done. Because whatever it is you leave undone will forever remain undone. Example are the stones and all the things around. If no one is drilling them, they don't get drilled. God don't drill stones. You guys drill stones. I'll see you some other time, and don't forget to share this video. If you're watching me on Facebook, share. If you're watching on YouTube, Great Man Ayilara on YouTube. Great Man Ayilara on YouTube. You can do well to just subscribe and press the notification button so that when we have new revelation and new teaching, as a seeker, we can share together. If you also have Telegram app on your phone, search for 1 million seekers. 1 million seekers. Join. Put your question there. There are open-minded people in that place who have several resources, who are even wiser than I am. They will share with you. They will help you. You will cast away this veil and you will be normal again. Thank you very much. I love you, and that's why I'm doing this. Bye for now.